entertain. She's different. And that's what we tell ourselves. Oh, they different. And, you start talking, you start communicating. Then the first time the situation gets sticky, then the truth comes out instead of the truth already being presented in the beginning. But you got to remember, the half of the time when we meet people, we meet their representative. We don't meet the real them. We meet the Halloween, Friday the 13th, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees costume, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street shit. So at the end of the day, you sitting there thinking like, okay, you got you something. You might have something that's worth, going through the emotions and all that bullshit with. But then technically you don't. In hindsight, looking back at that relationship, I went through hell and high water in that motherfucker, and it was toxic. But it was toxic before I even got there. Because see, this is what we have to do, people. When people tell us, whether it's a man or a woman, whoever you are, they're listening to this. Pay attention. Listen to their words. Listen to what they tell you. Because half of the time, that shit, the truth be in what they saying. When you meet someone and you think they cool, and then they get down to breaking down what happened in their past relationships, pay attention to that. You will learn a lot about that individual person based on their past relationship. Well, this person was married, decided to, end the shit, and they didn't end it right. Like, I really don't get the generations and shit. Like, divorce and get the fuck on. Don't sit there and drag a dead fucking marriage for years and years and years, and no one has the balls or the ovaries, the motherfucking just say, you know what, I'm finna go down here and bust these papers like Usher say. And just sit there and hold on to some shit that don't even mean shit to neither one of y'all. But half of the time it does, but motherfuckers' pride, ego, and all that other shit, cause 10 out of 10, the motherfuckers and sit there and talk to the family about that motherfucker, talk to this person or that person about that person, and paint pictures for people to think and believe. And by the time real truth feelings come out, shit, you done damaged that shit, both of y'all, because most of the time both people go out there and paint the picture of the other person as this and that and the third. And when all actuality, they really want to be together, but they just don't know what to do because they done went so far over the line. They've been habitual line crossers and line steppers that there's no point in return from that. Like, my word of advice, and I ain't no psychologist or no motherfucking counselor or nothing. I'm just a man out here giving y'all my life and telling y'all the experiences of my life. The good, the bad, the ugly, open face, but no chaser. So, like, people do stupid shit that I don't fucking stand. You get in a relationship, it turns into something serious. It goes to walking down the aisle. Now you get there, then what? When y'all move in together, y'all, start having a family and making things, like the Huxtables and shit. And then someone does something that you don't like. Or they say something that you don't like. Or they cross a line that you said to yourself you would never allow anyone to cross. And then that's when it starts. That's when the bullshit comes in. That's when everybody starts looking at the other way. Now they sitting in a panic because they done fucked around and walked down the aisle, spent this money, had this big ass shingding, because it really be like a big ass block party than anything. Because a lot of people marry for the fucking wedding, not the marriage. And that's why divorce rates are high. Because marriages are toxic now. You got people who are married that have boyfriends and girlfriends And I've never heard of that. I have two wonderful parents, loving parents. Popped up on me today at work to come say hey to their oldest son who lived in the house. Shout out to mom and pop for that surprise visit. And another shout out to Pops for turning 82 on Wednesday. Real nigga, real man, real whatever you want to call him. Stand up guy. He might be only 5'6", 5'7", but he a giant in my eyes. So, he instilled a lot of the things in me when it comes to being a man. Not always getting it, and I'm not always abiding by the things he teach me. But the older I'm getting, the wiser I'm getting, and the better I'm using and applying the things he taught me. So, their anniversary is coming up, and, happy anniversary to my parents as well. But once you decide to tie the knot or whatever, jump the broom, mazel tov and all that, l'chaim, once you decide to do all that, man, take that shit serious. But you gotta know who you marrying. You gotta know who you in a relationship with. You gotta know who your friends are. Know your personnel. That's the biggest key to any fucking thing. People don't be knowing their personnel. They meet someone, oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread, TVs, and air. And they leave their drawers in the bathroom and don't put them in the dirty clothes hamper. But you got OCD. You a knee freak. But you marry a slob, or you date a slob, or even, it's crazy, but I know women who live in pigsties, filth, have children around it. And I say to myself, how you walk out your front door dressed to the nine, but walk in your house and that shit look like you in a fucking rummage sale, or you just, this shit is amazing. Like how these people live, but to put on airs and fronts for the community to see, but don't even, and that shit, wow. But nevertheless, that's them. But then you get in these relationships with these people, these friendships, these marriages, these entanglements. You do all this shit with these people, and then when you realize, damn, who the fuck did I date? Who the fuck was I married to? Who did I just walk down this aisle and give these vows in front of God? And then, this motherfucker really shows up. The real done pop up. Now you're not liking their energy. Now you're not liking what they got to say. Now every time you hear their voice, the shit annoys you. And then the next thing you know, shit, you got wandering eyes. And I hear this all the time. Lately in my lifetime, I learned women cheat more than men do. And it's fucked up because women will push that narrative on men all the time. But a lot of women I've met in the last 10, 15 years, these women been out here getting off in these streets. Shit, I thought I'd be getting off. Fuck. They beat me to it. And I mean, it's sad because Big Mama and Grandma and Mama from them old ways and them old days, they ain't do that shit. If the shit ain't what it is, sometimes they'll hang on until they just can't hang on because they done lost all their teeth, because that's all they've been hanging on by their teeth. And then they just leave, they walk away. And people try to say it's hard to do those things, but I don't believe that shit, because it's all about perception and perspectives. Because my happiness matter. And some people don't give a fuck about their happiness. So they'll sit there and stay in something that they know they shouldn't be in and fucking think that's okay. But what are you teaching the kids that you raising in that home to sit there and just take people's shit? Don't stand up for yourself. Don't believe in yourself. Don't trust in your Lord and Heavenly Father that He'll get you out of that if you walk away. Because sometimes He be trying to push you out the door when you standing there with both arms and hands on the wall, trying to keep yourself in a place that you don't even want to be in the first fucking place. Because it's toxic. Like, I've been in relationships where I had to argue more than I say, hey, what's up, baby? How's your day? And it fucking sucks. The worst relationship I ever been in, man. It was so fucking bad. Like, I paid for every bitch ass, puss ass, fuck nigga that she dated. Every last one of them, from the husband all the way down to the ex-boyfriend for me. I paid the ultimate price because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you hear the stories about the things they've been through with others, and you ain't nowhere near them cats. You move different. You know what I'm saying? You rock different. That's not even how you get down. But then it's like, shit, you get in a situation like I did. I got in a situation. I was challenged in every position of this relationship. When I say challenged, like, you can think about it. Oh, you not gonna leave where you live because that's where you make your money at. Because at the time, shit, I was thugging, man. I had 10 toes, 2 fists, 10 fingers, 2 eyeballs, plus the third eye. And I'm out here thugging, like living it, man. I'm talking about clocking dollar like it ain't shit. I'm talking about, man, God was with me because I was doing the most. I'm talking about me riding out of town, meeting people, trying to come up with that extension cord plug to the socket type shit. And it was amazing because I had been single for 10 years. Now, how many people get out of a relationship like I did and just say, you know what, I'm finna cruise control this shit called life and relationships for the moment. I'm just gonna ride. I'm just gonna turn on me some Frankie Beverly and Maze. I'm gonna put on some motherfucking Marvin. I'm gonna ride out to the Isley Brothers, you dig? We just gonna float and do it like that. And then the crazy thing is, time had done passed by. I done met some cool females that was down, loved a nigga, was in love with a nigga, and I didn't even recognize the signs, didn't even know. I just thought they cared about me more than a little bit, you know. Wasn't really thinking that I affected their life like that to the point where they was willing to sacrifice every fucking thing. And how many of us turn away from those people who proved and showed their loyalty just to give your fucking time to a motherfucker who wouldn't even walk out the front door for you, but you'll jump out the window for them. And we make those mistakes. I damn sure did. Shout out to them 2 women whose hearts are broke. I'm on my podcast spitting my truth, and I appreciate everything y'all done for me and my kids. Y'all cared and y'all love me more than I ever knew. And I apologize if I hurt you, damaged you, did anything to make you feel like I didn't care. Because I cared. I just didn't realize how much y'all cared about me. Because when you so used to motherfuckers trying to use you and get shit from you, feel like you got this and it don't hurt him. It ain't bothering him. Because shit, he got it like that. Not knowing, if you're not from that lifestyle, you won't understand the pitfalls, the ins, the outs, the ups and the downs. You ain't gonna know that shit. You not. So when you got a square trying to come into a circle, it don't fit. I ain't saying go get you a street chick, because it shouldn't be no woman in the streets. You got women that hustle, you got women that finesse, you got women that's about their business, but you know, I ain't here to tell no woman, no man what to do. But the old days seem to work for us. I don't know why. I guess because people cared about people. People seen people for human beings. Now, yeah, there's a lot of shit that went on back then that's going on in this day and age now. Nothing new under the sun. Like cousin Robbie used to tell me, his mama told him, and which is true. And at the end of the day, shit, you gotta realize something. Like, the shit you going through, somebody in your family been through that shit. the experiences you've been through, some